So I received a text message this morning from Josh at 7 a.m. informing me that he had not only hit the top stack yesterday, but two of the top three pitchers, and that I was effectively fired from the job. Now, clear Dunning-Kruger effect to the side. I picked a terrible day to take off and an even worse day to return. You'll see what I mean in a second. You're watching The Perfect Lineup, where Josh Engleman, and yes, unfortunately to him, myself, do what we can every day to build the most beautiful lineup, take down a tournament, two pitchers, one stack, let the single lineup sims do the rest of the work. And as always, if you want a free week of the sims, all you got to do, leave a comment down below. Let us know who you think the top stack is going to be today. And that Sims week could be yours. Of course, if you like this content, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And I got one more thing special to tell you. Anybody throughout the All-Star break who is an active MLB sub to any of our Stokastic tools is now getting all access to MMA, NASCAR, PGA, and yes, even though the All-Star break ends next Friday, we are continuing that all the way through the weekend as a sign of, hey, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for being subscribers at Stokastic. So keep that in mind as we go forward throughout the week and into the break next week. All right, now when I said this was a bad day to return, what I meant is pitching is wildly bad, even for a Thursday slate, but that's okay. We've all got the same pool of pitchers to choose from. I do feel like I'm backed into a bit of a corner here, especially coming off Josh's nice day. But here's the thing. 13 of 14 teams on tonight's slate have an implied total of 4.5 or higher. There isn't a single game with a run total under 8.5, and 6 of 7 games are 9 or higher. So yeah, chew on that one as we get into pitching today. At the top, you have two options. You have Bryan Woo, you have Spencer Strider. And I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. I also don't think you can go right with either of them, but that's just how the slate looks all around. Now, Strider's pitching in Sacramento with 100-degree temperatures. Mild winds blowing out, but 100-degree temperatures. And Bryan Woo has the Yankees in New York. I wanted to go with Woo here. The guy has gone 6+ innings in all 17 starts this season. Amazingly efficient. And I do think he's a safer play who's getting less ownership than Strider. But looking at the K props changed my mind entirely. Here's what I mean. 5.5 K prop for Bryan Woo. 7.5 for Spencer Strider. Both of them have 17.5 outs props, except Strider's over is juiced heavier than Woo's. And 2.5 earned run prop, except, believe it or not, Strider's is juiced heavily to the under. He's $500 cheaper. I hate the park in the heat, but I'm not going to overthink this one. Strider, lock him in as our SP1.
9 people were willing to follow me to the promised land by taking the Boston Red Sox. Apologies to everyone that took the Angels. You might have had more runs. You didn't have more fantasy points. So the 9 of you are here watching the wheel spin, trying to figure out who is going to get the free week of MLB DFS Sims, and that person is going to be, I never know how to say this. We're going to go with 16 ohms, but there is probably no chance that's the way I'm supposed to pronounce that. But if it's you, send in an email to support@stokastic.com and get that free week.
Now, if you thought SP1 was bad, well, you haven't seen SP2 yet, because it's a barren wasteland tonight. At least Logan Allen, we can say, profiles pretty well as a guy that we can plug in at the position. The White Sox, slate low 4.2 total. Remember I mentioned 13 of 14 teams with a 4.5 run total or higher? The only team below that is the White Sox facing Logan Allen today. Their active roster striking out more against lefties, almost 28% than any other team. Allen has a 2.5 earned runs prop. We can take that. Juice to the under, 16.5 outs prop, 4.5 K prop with juice to the over. So it is what it is. $7,700 on a bad pitching slate against a team that's striking out at a very high clip versus lefties and routinely runs out a lineup that one could easily confuse as a AAA team. So as I said, it simply is what it is tonight. Spencer Strider right below or right above Logan Allen as our 2-pitcher combo, and Josh will take it home with the stack.
Yesterday really couldn't have gone much better. We got the top scoring stack correct. So now I want to see, can I run it back? Can I get the top stack for the second straight day? I'd like to think that I can. And we're actually going to get some synergy with the rest of our lineup. Shout out to Laffy for dropping in these pitchers. But if we're going to have Logan Allen, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Guardians. Now, let's start with the Stokastic data, as we always do. They are tied for 5th in top stack. Can handle that ranking for today. They are the #1 value stack. We're going to be able to have a ton of salary left over when we use them. That'll be great for the rest of the lineup. They're 3rd overall in stack score and 4th in ownership. So I would argue they might even be a hair under-owned right now. And they've got a great matchup against the White Sox and Jonathan Cannon. Now, against lefties, Cannon looks like a normal dude. 168 x ISO is just like fine for a guy of his ilk. 21% K rate, like totally league average. But against righties, not quite the same thing. 203 x ISO, 14% K rate, and a 7.5% swinging strike rate. Righties have absolutely no problem beating up on Cannon. And now Cleveland as an offense has been pretty underwhelming this year. 27th in WRC plus against righties, 18th in ISO though, so they do show some pop. They're actually 11th in walk rate in that scenario, which I think is interesting. They basically just don't get any other hits. They'll either hit for power or draw a walk, but nothing else happens. I can handle that for right now. They actually have a 259 BABIP against righties, which is 13 points lower than any other team against righties from a BABIP perspective. They're dead last by a mile. So they have been at least a little bit hit unlucky. Now, the Guardians were pretty bad as of late. They had lost 10 straight before stepping in and sweeping the Astros, and now they get the White Sox. This is a much better spot. So I'm taking a look at a couple different players. If you want to look switch hitters, that way anything works no matter what happens. You've got Jose Ramirez, who is obviously the best offensive player in this lineup, or you can get somebody like Carlos Santana. The lefties do tend to hit a little bit worse against Cannon than the righties do, but you do have lefties in Naylor, in Schneemann, in Nolan Jones, if you want to go that direction, or you can just grab a righty bat with some power and get Noel. But I like the idea of taking this Guardians team because 1, the stack score looks good, but 2, that value rating is going to leave us what feels like $1 billion to fill out our last 3 spots. So now we're in the single lineup simulator at Stokastic.com, and we are going to finish off building what we think is going to be the perfect lineup. Spencer Strider in, Logan Allen in, 5-man Guardian stack, Naylor, Santana, Schneemann, Ramirez. And we're going to grab a little power in the outfield spot with Noel. That leaves us 5K at short and 2 outfield spots. I shouldn't have to explain how much power we should expect from those 3 roster spots. And we're going to fill them out by clicking complete this lineup and getting the 3 optimal plays based on our positions and the salary left. And I truly couldn't be happier with this. We already have Strider, and now we're going to get a 2-man Brave stack to go along with Strider in Acuna and Ozuna. Plenty of power there, and a one-off shortstop option of Corey Seager. This lineup is pretty awesome, and we had spots where we could take on some ownership like we did for Acuna, but now we need to find out, does this lineup look good? And the easiest way to figure that out, click Run Lineup Simulation. 43% sim ROI, 0.2% chance to win, a 1.6% chance of a top 10% lineup, and a 34% cash rate. We filled out with an incredible Acuna, Ozuna, Seager trio. We've got the 3rd ranked stack score team. We've got the best pitcher on the slate, and we've got some good value in Logan Allen. All of those ingredients go into a pot. We mix them together, and what we bake up is a perfect lineup.